Hi everyone, I'm Barkha Dutt. This is the Mojo Story, the digital platform that brings you some of the most interesting newsmakers from around the world. Today we're looking at the blockbuster success of a Nykaa. Let's take a look at what we've been reading and hearing about in the last couple of days. That blockbuster IPO listing has catapulted its founder Falguni Nayar into the super big league. She is now officially India's richest self-made woman. But it could not have been easy to get to this point. We will be speaking to Falguni Nayar to hear in her own words the extraordinary journey, a quick journey for Nykaa, not just surviving, but even thriving in these last 2 years of the pandemic. India's wealthiest self made billionaire offers an inspiration and an example to other women, especially when we talk about the lack of access to capital and so many thwarted dreams for so many women, not just within India, but Falguni Nayar presents an iconic example to women across the world. Let's go straight across now to our newsmaker on the program today, Falguni Nayar, hitting the global headlines. Many congratulations. This moment, if I had asked you or someone else had asked you a decade ago, would you be here? Could you have envisioned it? Did you always envision it?
So thanks, Barkha. So I think for me, since about 2009, if I may say so, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. As an IPO banker, I had met a lot of entrepreneurs, and they had really energized me to want to embark on an entrepreneurial journey of my own. I think what I saw was that they had a dream and they chased that dream, and when no one else believed in it, I think they pursued it. And over the next 15-20 years of my career, I saw them build a company that kind of had them achieve their dream, of creating, say, a Disney style studio in India. Or I did an IPO for a number of companies, and that was really a motivation. Number of brands like Marico and Godrej were built in front of me. So I think I was itching to do the same journey as well as build a brand in the country. And I kept thinking about it for about from 2009 to 12. It took me at least 2.5 years to gather courage to go and tell my boss Uday that I need to move on and I need to start this company. And I think everybody thought that maybe I was having a midlife crisis, but I was very clear what I wanted to do. So I'm happy I did it. And 9 years on since 2012, and we are a listed company. So I think yes, this is way beyond I had imagined, but I was pursuing an entrepreneurial dream.
And it's interesting that you talk about, a midlife crisis. You were 50 years old when Nykaa was birthed, as it were. Startups in this country, and in fact, in any culture, are usually associated with eccentric early 20s. Women in particular, have a tougher time accessing capital, getting their ventures off the ground. Did people tell you, because you mentioned a midlife crisis, hey, Falguni, you're already 50, half your life is done. Why do you want to shake up everything? Why do you want to leave a comfortable job and do this?
I think, yeah, I mean, people didn't tell me on my face because everyone I meet, I used to tell them that how I want to be an entrepreneur. And for me, 50 is the deadline because if I don't do it before 50, I'll never do it. So I think they used to hear that from me. So I don't think they countered that. But they may have thought that what's wrong with her. And especially because of the choices I made. I had a fantastic career at Kotak. Kotak was a fantastically fast growing bank. And, you have comfortable offices, Nariman Point office, great view. And I went into this Vasan Udyog Bhavan, which is those, old mill compounds where there are small, tiny offices. I started from there. People couldn't understand that how could I really embrace a startup culture and start from a tiny office which didn't even seat 10 people.
Yeah. So it's literally like giving up the corner office for a plunge into the unknown. Like you said, a small startup in a reclaimed mill compound. What has been the toughest part of getting to this point, Falguni? When you look back, what used to keep you up at night?
I think it's very important for me to tell the budding entrepreneurs that this is not easy, and the journey. I mean, the destination or the final, like even IPO. I mean, I don't think it's the final line. It's just the beginning, and we have far longer way to go. But even this is never easy, and I think first 2-3 years were really fraught with so much stress. Like, I think I lost my three CTOs in a row. Like, every year the CTO would quit. So, over the first 4 years, I had changed three CTOs, and it took me a long time to get it going from a tech perspective. Finally, I today do feel that we are really well positioned from a tech perspective, but it took time and energy. Similarly, I think when our business started scaling up, it was like, I remember suddenly we started seeing 60 orders a day, and we crumbled because we didn't have any ERP set up. And then we had to roll up our sleeves and work very hard to dispatch those orders and set up an ERP. So there's a lot of hard work that one has to do. And I think my early choice of platform was also such that I was always fearful that, will it not scale beyond 1,000 orders a day? Will it not scale beyond 10,000 orders a day? So it was almost like doing mid-air refueling to shift. By then the business had picked up, but then you were doing this mid-air refueling to shift to a better platform. So I think early journey is never easy, but I think if you have that, you have a belief that you really want to do it, then I think everything becomes easy.
How much has sort of being a woman impacted this journey for good or for bad? We always talk about women-led companies. Are they different? Are they not? Should they be different? Should they not be different? Oh, the access to capital. Maybe it was different for you because you came from an investment banker background. But when you see yourself today described in the headlines as India's richest self-made woman, as a woman, how tough has it been?
See, I'll tell you, I've gone on record even during my early career as a banker also, that there is no glass ceiling. If women want to do it, they can do it. So I personally feel that there are five things for women to proceed ahead. One is they have to believe in themselves, and they have to want to dream for themselves. Very often, and especially our mothers and their generation of women actually always never wanted to dream for themselves. They felt that that would upset the apple cart balance in their lives. And I think women need to believe and dream for themselves. And our big message as Nykaa to women is that the spotlight of your life should be on you, and your life should be about you and not really about solving it for your family. So I think women should not be afraid for that. So that's my first pivotal message. Second is, yes, women do need to juggle. And I always say to balance, it's better to juggle than to balance. So what I meant is that when you need to give more time and energy to children or to your family, you do that. And when you have a lot of work pressure, then you give time for that. So when I was a mid-level executive, I used to juggle, and what that meant was that I would not work late all 5 days a week. I don't think I had that luxury to do that with two young children at home. So what we would do is that I would work late 2 to 3 days a week, and the other 2 to 3 days a week I'll really get out early by 5, so that I can take my kids to the park. Of course, they're 31 now, and I should not refer to them as kids. I have twins, Anchita and Advaita, who are now 31 and have joined me in the business. But I think juggling is very important. The third thing is that women do not like to network. And I think talking about your business, talking about what your business wants to do, where it wants to be, these are all very important skills that I learned through mid-career. And then finally, also, women also feel very bad about negotiating. And negotiation is a very important skill in building a business. And I think women need to have confidence in themselves that negotiation is not bad. It's a question of a perspective. Like, I started realizing that negotiation is not about what I want versus what the other person wants. There can be win-win negotiation, but it's about communicating your perspective to the other person, so that you can arrive at the final place which makes sense for both of you. So I think there are these skills: networking, negotiation skills, and also believing in yourself so that others believe in you. So I think winning other people's trust, that's also very critical.
I love the fact that you say that women should learn to put the spotlight on their own lives, because too often, women are romanticized as these supremely sacrificing creatures, and then they give up their own dreams, or we give up our own dreams. But let me ask you this: you're saying there's no glass ceiling. Did you never hit a wall? I mean, you've spoken about losing your CTOs repeatedly, and those are some teething problems. But as a woman in the world of finance, because one of the things that women are often apologetic about is talking about money and asking for more money. Because we have this tendency to say our work will speak for itself. That doesn't happen in the real world, does it?
No, I'm not talking about. I think women very rarely negotiate for their salaries. I think it's been known, and there's a lot of research on that. That women just like to do good quality work, and they never negotiate for their salary, or they don't jump around because they want more continuity, and as a result, their compensation takes a back seat, and it suffers. And they probably don't care about it. If they like their work, they probably don't care whether they are best paid. So I think the motivation for women are definitely different than men, but that's not what I'm talking about. I think it's not about, it's to say that I don't understand money. That is wrong. I think one has to, however creative one is, however talented one is, one, if you want to be a businesswoman, you have to understand the P&L of your business. You have to understand how you want to fund your business growth, and how do you want to build your equity, and and build your company. So I think to say that I don't need to handle finance and I leave it to someone else. I think if you want to be a businesswoman at the helm of your business, I think that probably is a simplistic assumption. I think business is about money, and you better embrace that.
I agree. Tell me a little bit about the journey thus far. You said you learned to juggle, not balance. Sometimes I feel like we don't talk about equality at home, which is where the process of equality at work really starts. A number of women stop working because they can't do that juggling. There's pressure on them at home. They don't have supportive families, and so on. What has been your lived experience with that juggling? Does that juggling get exhausting? Does it get much more exhausting for women? Especially during this pandemic times, we've seen double the amount of responsibility for women who are working from home but also managing homes.
No, so I'll talk about a couple of things. So when I earlier said that there's no glass ceiling, and you said, didn't you face problems? So I think women also face problems. All I meant was that, what I meant by not having glass ceiling was that no men were keeping us from breaking the glass ceiling. So I think, I whatever I achieved, I don't think men were coming in the way of what I achieved or what any other woman would achieve. I mean, if you have a supportive family. So I think for me, I've been very, very fortunate. I was born into a family where my dad believed I was truly an equal to my brother, and brought me up like that. And that did not allow me to think that there would be any constraints to my my ambition or my desire to do something. So I think I was always interested in business from very young age, and it was known to me that I would pursue my I would always work. So it was known that I will always work, and I will somehow juggle having family and work. I also moved with my husband all over the world. So it's not that I didn't do the traditional thing, but it was always known that yes, I will do that, but I will also work. And of course, I've had a very supportive spouse who has never stopped me from any professional responsibility. And I don't think, like, I always used to say that, and then I feel that even that is a wrong statement. But like, I used to say that he would truly support me in my professional commitments, and he would never say, oh no, our son is not well, or our daughter's not well, how can you go to work? So he never said that. But I also today believe that women don't need that mindset, because I mean, basically, if you are at work, you are at work, and you know your responsibilities, and you will juggle your responsibilities. So I don't think one can give the judgment to anyone else in the family. But yes, supportive family always helps. Supportive in terms of being understanding about what I could commit to them, and also how I would juggle is something that my family left it to me.
Yeah. I, how do you explain the sort of whopping success of Nykaa even during the COVID pandemic, when really all your assumptions of life were challenged, when vanity was perhaps at its lowest ebb, right? Because you were not even getting out of the house and meeting anybody. And for a while, people just lived in their track pants for days altogether. And yet, this is the moment, you've actually managed to insulate your business from even cataclysmic events like COVID. How did you do that?
I think, when we started the beauty business, I think the definition of beauty was very narrow. And a lot of my friends used to say, oh, I don't use beauty products. What they meant was maybe they don't wear a lipstick, or maybe they don't use a mascara. But I think the definition of beauty is much more wider. And I used to always say that to some people, it's their skin that matters, for others, it's their hair that matters, for others, it may be even how they smell or what kind of a fragrant bath they take. And I think we went with a much wider definition of women. And I think during pandemic, I think the need of the hour was to be able to segregate between what you call as essentials and non-essentials. And essentials included, like, obviously skin and hair and personal care. And I think pandemic was a time when people started focusing on self-love, self-care, and I think that is what Nika saw an opportunity for. And while the world was shut down, or India was also shut down during April and May, our warehouses were working. So I'm really blessed with we work through, we are an inventory led, and we work through our own warehouses, and I have a extremely supportive operations team that went in against all odds. They went into work, and they were always working, ready to do what it took to deliver packages to our customers throughout the length and breadth of the country. See, we saw some very interesting thing. We saw a lot of our customers order sanitary napkins on our website during the lockdown, which normally they buy it from the shop next door.
Yeah.
And we were happy to deliver whatever the customer wanted. So I think we were very meaningful. We became a very meaningful a retailer for our customers because of the pandemic. And then again, due to the video world, I think we started seeing that face mattered, and we saw the consumption of face products, which includes foundation and concealer and skin products, go up because people could see all their minute flaws on a digital screen. And then later we also saw the eyes go up. So the only really the category that suffered was lips, and lips is the biggest category within makeup. But under the mask, definitely that category suffered, but it's coming back with a vengeance.
That's just so interesting, especially the bit about the sanitary pads. Okay, I've got a couple of minutes left. Let me ask you this. What does money mean to you personally? Today, as India's richest self made female billionaire, what does money mean to you, to your family? How has it changed your life?
So I think we've been very fortunate with early career, giving success to both Sanjay, my husband, and myself. So I think we were very comfortable even before I started the company. So I think I'm driven more by the journey to create and build a brand that will be in Indian consumers' heart for a long, long time to come. And that is a true motivation for me and my team to build a company and a brand that is sustainable and survives all of us, beyond all of us. So I think we are very, very keen to work on that main passion. And I think for us, our current valuation only means that our ability to do more and to be able to afford to do more, whether in terms of commitment of resources or building more warehouses, or building larger teams, larger tech teams to be able to do more. So I think for us, access to, I mean, today the market capitalization or our value for firm only means that we'll have access to more capital to do more in future. And of course, what that means is we'll be working very hard for sure.
Are you getting to take some time off at all?
Yeah, I always take my own breaks. Like I told you, I juggle. So there will be times where you'll find me on a holiday somewhere. So I feel life is too short. And like I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I also want to take my own bits of holidays and see the beautiful places all over the world. So we are a very travel enthusiastic family. And even during COVID times, we must have taken at least 4 to 5 small breaks all over the country, whether Ranthambore or,
Yeah.
we discovered India, so to speak.
Fantastic. In the end, Falguni, what would Falguni Nayar tell her 18-year-old self? If you were having that conversation with your 18-year-old self today, what's the one thing maybe that you've discovered that you didn't know then, or that you've had to unlearn, that you were sure of then, but today know to be wrong?
I have no regrets, to be honest. Like, I personally feel that I was a very happy-go-lucky girl. If you had asked me at 18, I just wanted to sit in a field or trek in mountains, and didn't care a bit about if anybody asked me what I wanted to do with my career. I had no clue. Finally, I got somewhere. So I think take one step at a time. And basically, I enjoy my work, and I see work as an investment into my future self. And I think that is a very right way of looking at it, that if you work hard, you keep investing in yourself for the future, and there will be a stronger version of yourself for the future, and then the appropriate rewards will follow. So I'm a big believer in the Gita philosophy that not just me but my husband and my family, that karm kar or fal ki ichha mat rakho, and appropriate rewards will follow.
Well, thank you. And thank you for being an inspiration to so many women, not just in India, but across the globe, to show that it's never too late. You're never too old, and the dream is never too big. So dream it. Thank you, Falguni Nayar, the founder of Nykaa with the blockbuster IPO, now officially India's richest self-made female billionaire. It's a pleasure talking to you. Take care and enjoy your small break. Thank you.
Thank you, Barkha. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Take care. Bye-bye. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.